The National FFA Convention and Expo from Indianapolis. It was back and in person. Straight ahead.
I really think I've grown a lot more in terms of being a teammate for other people and finding ways to encourage other people.
Join us as we go behind the scenes and hear from Newton County's Doster Harper on what the past year has meant to him serving as the National FFA President. It's a special on-location edition of the Farm Monitor, and it starts right now.
This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
All right, big thanks to Ray for setting the tone of this show. We'll have much more from him in just a second. I'm Kenny Burgamy holding down the fort here in the studio. A lot to get to in the next half hour. As mentioned, Ray talks one-on-one with Georgia's Harper. Such an incredible young man. He definitely has a bright future ahead of him. Aside from FFA, we'll also hear from past directors of the Georgia Forestry Commission as that organization celebrates 100 years of existence. And then later, if you didn't get a chance to see it for yourself at Sunbelt Expo, we're taking you inside one of John Deere's newest toys and how it's designed to save producers a bunch of money. But first, let's begin in Indianapolis and the 94th National FFA Convention and Expo. So much excitement after last year's event was all virtual due to the pandemic. It also marked the swan song for Newton County's Harper, who officially put the wraps on his one-year term as the National FFA President. Ray DeLessio was in Indianapolis and says the impact this young man has made is immeasurable.
When you commit to perseverance in this blue jacket, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. FFA members, when the unforgiving minute gets tough, just keep running.
Perseverance and teamwork. The foundations of Harper's retiring address after a year in which himself had to persevere through the challenges of a global pandemic. But helping him through all those obstacles, his fellow National FFA officers.
We're the only 6 that will ever experience a year like this, beginning in a pandemic and ending at the end of a year where FFA members have worked so hard to help us overcome this pandemic, and it's been a very inspiring year to say the least. Our team has formed a very unique and very strong bond together, and we're always going to be lifelong friends and have each other's backs no matter what, which is the most special part about it.
Doss's final days as National FFA President also special given the list of supporters who made the trip to Indianapolis to be by his side. People like his longtime advisor, Dr. Marcus Pollard, both sets of grandparents, and Georgia State School Superintendent Richard Woods.
You know, he definitely has set the bar high, which is what we want, and hopefully for those that follow him, we'll raise that bar even a little bit more.
When you talk about someone with a servant heart, you know, Harper's really at the top of the list. You know, he's in it for the right reasons. You know, obviously he has his ROTC background. He's going to serve his country after he's done serving as the National FFA President. And he's always looking to serve others.
My personal faith is what has always driven me throughout all areas of life, and more specifically it's driven me into serving the FFA. And at the beginning of my high school career, I really had no idea where I wanted to fit in or where I would be successful in high school, and that's what helped me find my place in this organization, and this organization has given me a lifelong passion for service.
So without question, Doss has lived up to the expectations and the responsibilities of being the National FFA President. But through it all, he has remained humble and grounded, never forgetting his roots or the people who helped him achieve his goals and aspirations. Atop that list, his parents, Lance and Debbie Harper.
I always say, do good, be a light, and be a leader. Don't do anything in this world that doesn't make you a light or a leader in someone else's eyes. So I hope that kind of stuck, maybe, and with his brothers as well. So that's kind of what I've always tried to instill in them.
Yeah, it's just been a wonderful experience, and just all of the things that he's done that's helped him along the way, all of the experiences he's had, and just the whole transformation it's been wonderful to witness.
What drives me, honestly, aside from my faith and everything else in the FFA, is the opportunity to represent my family and to make them proud, and the opportunity to represent Covington and Newton County. And although I don't get to wear the state of Georgia on the back of my jacket this week, I'm really thankful that everybody knows that I come from Georgia and that my jacket used to read Georgia on the back of it. And even though tomorrow's the last time I get to wear this jacket, I'm really grateful that a jacket that says Georgia on the back of it will always hang up in my room next to a blank jacket, because that's what got me here.
For the Farm Monitor, I'm Ray DeLessio, Indianapolis.
All right, Ray, great job. In the meantime, a couple of other Georgia highlights from this year's convention. The Bonaire Middle School FFA chapter named the Middle School Model of Excellence, beating out 10 other chapters from across the country. Tyler Ertzberger of the Franklin County FFA chapter given the 2021 American Star Award for Agribusiness. And how about this sprint to the stage? Former Georgia State FFA President Eric Robinson named to the 2021-22 National Officer Team as the Southern Region Vice President. Eric carrying the proverbial torch passed down from Doss Harper.
Doster Harper is one of the most genuine men that I've ever met in my entire life. So to know that I can go right after him and continue the work that his team did this past year means the world to me. And I'm just grateful to represent Georgia. I'm grateful to be right there after Doster. And I'm just grateful altogether.
All right, much more from Indianapolis after the break. Ray rejoins us for that. And then later, a cotton picker for the ages and how it's expected to help farmers save money.
My father, Irwin Tiffany, grew up in Linden, Kansas, and the family had a house and a farm on the edge of town. My father's job was to be a representative of the University of Wisconsin and traveling around the state, teaching vocational agricultural topics in the Wisconsin high schools. You'd like to get the kids out onto the farm, reaching the heart and soul of learning to be a farmer in the field. And he was getting ready for the annual conference of the Future Farmers of America. And he wanted to do something to kind of put a stake in the ground and say, here's where I stand. That became the creed. It wasn't an academic statement, it was a philosophic statement. It's a work of philosophy, it's a work of art. It gives me a warm feeling to know that my father had the sensitivity to have been able to make that contribution affect the lives of so many. And that made all the difference in the world.
I believe in the future of agriculture.
With a faith born not of words, but of deeds.
Achievements won by the present and past generations of agriculturists.
And the promise of better days through better ways.
Even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us from the struggles of former years.
I believe that to live and work on a good farm,
or to be engaged in other agricultural pursuits,
is pleasant as well as challenging.
For I know the joys and discomforts of agricultural life.
And hold an inborn fondness for those associations which,
even in hours of discouragement, I cannot deny.
I believe in leadership,
from ourselves and respect from others.
I believe in my own ability to work efficiently and think clearly.
With such knowledge and skill as I can secure.
And in the ability of progressive agriculturists to serve our own and the public interest.
In producing and marketing the product of our toil.
I believe in less dependence on begging and more power in bargaining.
In the life abundant.
And enough honest wealth to help make it so, for others as well as myself.
And less need for charity, and more of it when needed.
And being happy myself.
And playing square with those whose happiness depends upon me.
I believe that American agriculture can and will
hold true to the best traditions of our national life.
And that I can exert an influence in my home and community,
which will stand solid for my part in that inspiring task.
Some incredible words there, written 91 years ago, 1930 to be exact. Well, if you're just joining us, we are recapping some of the highlights of the 94th National FFA Convention and Expo here in Indianapolis. Of course, no trip to Indy would be complete without visiting the largest sporting venue in the entire planet. That would be the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Adjacent to the Speedway is the Brickyard Crossing Golf Course. In fact, a few of the holes are actually located inside the Speedway. Just some incredible views if you're a golf fan. Now, all this week, FFA members were given a chance to tour the facility, and once there, they learned a little bit about the game of golf and the agricultural practices that go into maintaining a golf course. They also learned about the many facets of golf course management, such as soil science, pesticide, and fertilizer management, just to name a few.
We're just here to educate them, and honestly, we do it so maybe one or two of these individuals will come and intern for us sometime, or maybe they go back to their homes and they find a local golf course to work at or a sports field to go work on. That's what we're looking to get out of them. It's funny, a lot of our individuals do have agriculture backgrounds, and I never thought I'd be studying in the School of Agriculture, but I graduated with a degree in ag, so yes.
Yeah, great time, very educational, and that was just a small sampling of what the FFA students are offered during convention week. In fact, every year they're given access to more than 70 leadership and personal growth workshops. For more on that, Damon Jones continues our team coverage.
It was a sea of Navy around Indianapolis as FFA members from all over the country packed Lucas Oil Stadium and the Convention Center with the hopes of receiving both valuable experience and information that would serve them well into the future. And there was no shortage of opportunities to do just that, as the 94th National Convention had a little something for everyone.
It's all about premier leadership, personal growth, and career success. That's what our organization's mission is, has been, and will continue to be. And we deliver all of that through agriculture education. And students are going to workshops and expanding their capacity and understanding of themselves. They're seeing retiring addresses and remarks from national officers that are encouraging them to have an influence in their community, like our creed says, and that's all about leadership.
So when students come here, whether they're competing, whether they're just here to observe the convention, they're going to get leadership opportunities. You're here with 55,000 other people, They're going to walk through the expo, and they're going to get a chance to meet colleges and universities and potential employers. They're going to go to leadership workshops, go to sessions. Students are going to come here and find opportunities to get better when they go home.
And with a variety of student workshops ranging from career advice to improving your mental state, each member was able to tailor a schedule specific to their interests. And if the turnout was any indication, it's an opportunity these students took very seriously.
It's good to come to these workshops, and I really love them because you learn a lot of different things about being a leader or doing other workshops around. I think they've really helped me as a leader, grow as a person. As I said in the session earlier, I said I was a coach. I feel like little kids look up to me a lot, and I'm going to coach them through steps, and I think FFA members are really like that because they are really strong.
While there were a number of workshops for the tens of thousands of FFA members in attendance, there were also a number of sessions specifically designed for the teachers and advisors, which will help them guide their students into the future.
I have come to look forward to the teacher workshops more so than any other part of convention. Even with students that might win a national award, that's a super experience for them, but I know that my chance to come to a workshop means more for my future students than I can imagine.
Looking towards the future is what this convention is all about, as it allows both the students and the teachers to rejuvenate themselves for the coming year while also reflecting on what they have accomplished.
While I would hope that they have all of the same experiences that they've had in the past, I hope each of them has that moment and experience where they grab onto a bit of optimism and hope and a bucket-filling experience that allows them to take that back and share that with their parents, their guardians, their siblings, with their teachers. Teachers have had such a difficult year. We just need to lift them up, and this experience is doing that, and I hope we can recharge them to have a great year ahead through FFA and Ag Education.
Reporting from Indianapolis, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon Ray, excellent job from Indianapolis. Well, that completes our coverage of the 94th National FFA Convention at Expo, but the show isn't over. Still to come, past directors share memories from 100 years of the Georgia Forestry Commission. Plus, it's the latest and greatest technology to help producers boost harvesting capacity and preserve cotton quality.
Hi, I'm Gary White.
Hi, and I'm Tim Lourimore, and it's a pleasure to get the opportunity to introduce you to some of our past directors as they reflect on some of the remarkable days that have gone by at our agency.
This continuing legacy represents where our agency has been and how far it has come, embracing technology, products, education, and our foundation, the GFC's commitment to service.
When I first came to work, we were totally focused on fire control mostly. But that slowly evolved into more than just putting out fires and protecting the trees. There became the understanding that the value of the forest it is to itself and to the landowners and homeowners and the individuals of Georgia when we start looking at decay, disease, rot, bugs, insects, and all of that, and then how that affects water quality, how that'll affect air quality. And so it evolved from just put out the fire to protect all these other things.
Forestry, when I first came to work, and for the next 25 years, was in its heyday. The representatives that represented the public of Georgia came from rural areas. We were the #1 industry in the state.
But yet at the same time, it has to morph and change in terms of its needs relative to our economy, to the needs of our society. And let's look at where we are right now. Carbon is more important than ever. The whole ecosystem services area, these are markets of the future, and we're right on the leading edge in being able to support those with what we do.
Forestry people are the best people in the world. They just are for whatever reasons, and they're really committed, love the work.
They have a close family environment that they can deal with, and I think that brings all this together, the commitment, the dedication that's out there.
We've got so many people we can mention over the state that way that's done so much.
The Forestry Commission has been an agency that's always ready to step up and help whatever the emergency was.
From our forest management to reforestation program to our fire control efforts, every year we send people to all parts of the country to lend assistance, just as they send folks here to help us.
With all the changes in electronics and all this, who knows? We may have something that leaves, they have a fire and they push a button, you just send it over with something to dump water on it. I don't know. It's anybody's guess.
The so-called technology now is dealing with real-world physics as well as chemistry. And as we look at this resource that we have, we're able to do things from satellites that we couldn't dream of just a short time ago. And I think that it's going to enhance our ability to respond to not just catastrophic events like insects and fire, but it's going to allow us to better manage this resource, to sink more carbon, to have cleaner water, to protect our watersheds, to know how to manage our forests so that we get the best environmentally and economically from this resource. And we'll continue to be the #1 forestry state in the nation as a result of us making smart technological decisions.
And starting to see pretty significant growth now in corporations leading the way and recognizing and wanting to put the green stamp on their business. And limiting their carbon emissions and offsetting their carbon emissions and doing things for the environment. And forestry community needs to capitalize on that. They need to take advantage of that by making sure the population is aware.
We would not even have the standard of living that we have today without forest products. So we need to teach folks just how important that is to us. Trees are so important to Georgia. First of all, for the economy. Second of all, for our way of life. They're renewable. We can plant them after we cut them. We can grow them, we can manage them, but we need them.
I hope it stays as the leader of forestry, the protector of forestry. Not only forestry, but that supports the forest industry of the state and support the industry however we can.
These memories serve as a blueprint for us moving forward into our next 100 years. So thank you for joining us on this journey.
The Georgia Forestry Commission.
A century of service, 100 years of heart.
Well, finally this week, cotton producers liked what they saw at the recent Sunbelt Expo as John Deere unveiled their latest and arguably greatest piece of productivity. John Holcomb was amongst the onlookers and breaks down the many benefits this mega picker has to offer.
With inputs increasing and profit margins becoming tighter, it's more important than ever for producers to be as productive and efficient as they possibly can. Thanks to John Deere's latest cotton picker, producers will certainly be on the right track as the company completely redeveloped the machine and tailored it exactly to what producers wanted.
This new cotton picker is 75% new from the ground up. Has new row units, new cab, new cotton handling system, including the round module builder, new mainframe, new engine, and hydraulic system. We worked with our customers all across the world. We worked very closely with customers here in the United States to develop these machines. And so as you look at these features on the machine, customers had direct input on what was important to them. And so this is truly a customer-developed machine that our engineers took their input and made better than and the most productive John Deere cotton harvester that we've ever built.
Most productive indeed. According to Murray, the machine will not only speed up producers in the field, but it also produces a bigger module that will improve efficiency and lower cost.
The new CP770 is 5% faster harvesting, so in a 10-hour day, that's an extra 4.4 acres covered throughout that harvest window. On board, with the new round module builder, we actually make a 2% larger diameter module, up to 96 inches. And then we also put in more cotton, denser, about 5% denser. Overall, that means we are reducing wrap costs by about 8% and hauling costs of the gin by 8% with these new harvesters.
And not only will it make producers more productive and efficient, it also helps producers with the quality of their crop.
The producer, as they're harvesting, they can watch in real time the moisture level, again, to protect that cotton quality. As we harvest more acres per hour, it's pulling that cotton out, it's protecting it from Mother Nature. So from rain or storms, anything that way, and it's putting it in that round module where it's wrapped with the Tama Wrap Plus, that round module wrap that protects it from any of the elements as it's either in the field or on the gin yard. So as we get that cotton out of the field faster and more efficiently, it protects that quality throughout that harvest season.
The new machine also has the ability that allows producers to trace cotton into the module, giving them the chance to see in real time how their crop is yielding on their farm.
The machine has a John Deere Starfire 6000 receiver. That's bringing in GPS data to make sure that we're not only staying on row to self-drive the machine, but also it's transmitting data for our Harvest Identification Cotton Pro system. That system is where we trace round modules, 27 data points for round modules. All that goes into the John Deere Operations Center where a farmer can look in almost real time and see where the modules are being made. It's overlaying the yield map in the field.
Reporting in Moultrie for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
All right, John, great job. Unfortunately, we are out of time. For Ray DeLessio, I'm Kenny Bergamy saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.